Coming up, a vaccine clinic is coming to campus. We have the details.
And later, another potential replacement for UI President Bruce Harreld is visiting campus.
Another UI athletic team is bringing home the Big Ten title. I'll tell you more in sports.
Later in weather. All that and more coming up on this Monday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Ashley Wheel. The University of Iowa paused distribution of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine last week. This paused campus vaccine clinics. Now UI Student Health is hosting a 2-day vaccine clinic later this week. DITV reporter Lauren Johnson is live at the Iowa Memorial Union with the details.
Thanks, Ashley. The university is providing a vaccine clinic for students Wednesday and Thursday of this week from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Students can get the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine on these days, but need to be aware of their final schedule when signing up for a time slot because the second dose will happen during finals week on Wednesday and Thursday. Students can sign up for vaccines vaccination survey that the university sent out via email earlier this semester, and then they will receive a link to sign up for a time slot for this vaccine clinic. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, Lauren. It pays to be fully vaccinated. In addition to offering vaccines on campus, UI Student Health is rewarding students for getting their COVID-19 vaccine. UI students can show their completed vaccination card to the IMU front desk to get a $10 Iowa City Downtown District gift card. The vaccination does not have to be through Student Health to qualify. The final 2 finalists for the UI presidency are visiting campus this week. Candidate number 3 is coming to Iowa from Georgia State University. Wendy Hensel is currently the provost and senior vice president for academic affairs at Georgia State. There she has many roles including managing academic development. At Georgia State, Hensel led the COVID-19 response to move classes online. She also started a task force on racial equality for students and staff. Hensel will answer questions at a public forum today at 3:30 p.m. The regents will announce the final candidate Wednesday morning, so be sure to keep up with the DI for more on the presidential search. Now a look at the weather for what could be a damp visit for Hensel's campus visit this week. Today, the high will be 43 degrees with a 30% chance of rain. As we head into the evening, the temperature will drop down to the low 30s. But don't worry, it looks like only Monday will be dreary. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, the temperature will jump to the mid to high 50s. This Thursday will be the best time to get out and study on the Pentecrest lawn, as it will be sunny all day long. Spring temperatures teased us a few weeks ago, but hopefully they're making a comeback for good. If you're flying a 50-star flag, it may soon be outdated. A new bill called H.R. 51 is set to allow D.C. statehood. It will be voted on in the U.S. House Thursday. DITV reporter Oliver Wilhelm is in the newsroom to tell you why. Oliver, is this bill likely to pass?
Well, this is part of Democrats' plan for the first 100 days of Biden presidency. It comes after a many-year-long push to give D.C. statehood. They're hoping this will give a voice to the over 700,000 plurality black permanent D.C. residents who so far don't have any real representation in Congress. Expected to pass the House Thursday easily, but faces challenge in the Senate, especially since Republicans don't like that it'll probably just add 2 more Democratic senators. This is also coming after a push for other states, including Puerto Rico, who recently supported joining the states with 52% of the vote. Representative Don Young, who's a Republican congressman, recently said that Puerto Rican statehood is long overdue. Either way, a new state will be the first one since 1959, but luckily there's already a few fun flag designs floating around out there. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, Oliver. Last week, the private Des Moines Christian school auctioned off a dinner for 8 with Governor Kim Reynolds and her husband at the governor's Terrence Hill mansion. The dinner raised $30,100 for the private school. Already, many are saying Reynolds crossed the line between church and state. The Freedom from Religion Foundation sent a letter to the Reynolds office this Friday condemning her auction, saying, quote, "When a governor auctions off a dinner with her in the governor's mansion, reasonable citizens will interpret this as the government's endorsement of religion," end quote. Reynolds' office has yet to make a public comment. I heard it was a big weekend for Iowa athletics. Let's toss it to Tiana Torjan in sports to see what went down.
Thanks, Ashley. Yesterday, the Iowa women's soccer team shut down the Wisconsin Badgers 1-0 to become the Big Ten championships for the first time in program history. It was junior forward Jenny Capes' game-winning goal that led the Hawkeyes to victory. Freshman forward Micah Ingles scored 3 game-winning goals during the tournament. Ingles received the tournament's most outstanding offensive player, and Ingles wasn't the only standout player. The dominant force of freshman goalkeeper Macy Enneking earned her tournament's most outstanding defensive player. The Hawkeyes posted their 6th shutout this season and are heading to the NCAA tournament in North Carolina starting April 27th. 7,000 fans filled Kinnick Stadium for the long-awaited open spring practice. DITV sports reporter Julia Richards finds out what the team has been working on this offseason.
Iowa football is back. Kinnick Stadium opened its gates to the public in over a year for Iowa's 9th spring practice. The practice included position-specific drills and a scrimmage between the offense and the defense. Spring practices are crucial for developing the fundamental skills needed to dominate during the regular season.
But the idea is to have good competition, create good competition, and create an opportunity for guys to learn how to play with a good fundamental base.
Iowa's quarterbacks put on quite a show yesterday. Junior Spencer Petras continues to show that he's going to remain the starter this fall season, despite his missed throws and interceptions.
Start with Spencer is just, he's got experience, he's got leadership capabilities. So, it's only fair to assume he's a little bit more confident in those leadership qualities than some of the other guys, because he has been out in the field. He has been our quarterback for the year.
Following behind Petras for the backup job remains unknown. Redshirt sophomore Alex Padilla showed Hawkeye Nation his confidence with the first-team offense and even found tight end Sam Laporta for a 30-yard touchdown during scrimmage play.
After Spencer right now, it's wide open, and I'd probably say Alex and Deuce are probably the closest to each other at this point.
The young Iowa Hawkeyes have a lot of work to do, but Ferentz is confident that his team will be ready in the fall. The Hawkeyes will host their final open spring practice on May 1st. Reporting from Kinnick Stadium, Julia Richards, DITV.
It's been a while since we've caught up with the Iowa men's track and field team. The Hawkeyes are dominating the outdoor oval for the first time in a year. The Hawkeyes' 2020 outdoor season was canceled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the lack of competition, the Hawkeyes have been racking up awards and honors this April. The Hawkeyes closed out the Big Ten Florida meet in early April with 12 gold medals. 1 week later, the Hawkeyes stole 10 career bests, including Wayne Lawrence Jr.'s first place 400-meter time of 46.14 seconds.
We know how good we can be, and so really the message has just been we just got to show up and do what we know we can do, and things will fall into place.
The Hawkeyes traveled to Illinois this weekend for the Big Ten preview. The Iowa softball team returned to its home diamond for a weekend series against Northwestern. Despite home field advantage, Iowa failed to place any runners on base, losing 7-0 on Friday. Bouncing back Saturday in the doubleheader, the Hawks recorded 11 runs between the two games, but that wasn't enough as Northwestern wins both 9-7 and 7-4. Finally, Lindy Milkowski's grand slam pushed the Hawkeyes for the win 5-2.
Well, our number one thing today was about momentum and keeping the momentum on our side. And if we see the energy or that momentum shifting, we wanted to make sure we were bringing it back on our side.
Iowa travels to Minneapolis for a weekend series against the Minnesota Gophers. For up-to-date scores and more on Iowa athletics, check out the print edition of the Daily Iowan, which is on stands now. Ashley, back to you.
Thanks. Quiz Elizabeth's 8-day period of mourning came to an end after her late husband, Prince Philip of Edinburgh's funeral service Saturday. Only 30 mourners were allowed at the royal ceremony due to COVID-19 restrictions. Prince Philip's body will stay in the royal vault of St. George's Chapel until the Queen's death. Then the remains of the pair will rest in the King George VI Memorial Chapel. Thank you for tuning in to DITV News. Tune in to our social media show, DITV Now, tomorrow on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or dailyiowan.com. We'll give you the latest on the UI presidential search, Hawkeye sports, and more. For DITV News, I'm Ashley Wheel. Have a great day, Iowa City.